Hey guys, welcome back. So, just a little recap, and congratulations, you have made it through the first month of Nofap with me. So, in the last video that we were talking about lowering expectations. The lower expectations that you have, of course, you're not outcome dependent on what will happen, because the lower expectations, you're not disappointed, and of course, as it's lower, anything above that is awesome. Now, what I want to do is mention what I mentioned before. No one is doing the work that you are actually putting in. You are separating yourself from the mass majority of people. People are going through their days in a walking daze. Now, what is very important is how much work you are putting into this. This is very important because, as we spoke about on the How to Enjoy It video in the beginning of March, we mentioned that we have these self-development junkies, and I'm one of those people that don't really enjoy the benefits of people sometimes, because we're always moving on to the next thing, or our achievements or accomplishments, right? So that's one spectrum of this NoFap challenge. So you have the single, ready to mingle individuals, and they have this vitality because all they want to do is kind of spread their seeds across the land. As humans, as the Homo sapien genus species, we want to survive and replicate. So on one hand, we want to replicate, right? I'm single, ready to mingle, and I want to replicate and find a mate. On the other hand, there's these individuals that already have a family, have a mate, have a nice place to live, but they don't have that drive anymore because sex is so obtainable. They don't have that challenge anymore. So what happens is that they're not as sexually stimulated. They don't have that vitality that is our internal drive to live. Because what happens is the drive drops down, and they're so focused on work that the easiest thing to do, because our mates are tired from work, but our body's still asking for that sex because it's one of the core fundamentals of our hierarchy of needs: food, water, shelter, and sex. We masturbate. On the other hand, we can't even focus because we're so sex driven, right? That what we have to do is masturbate. So we become addicted to the masturbation. Now, on one hand, we don't enjoy it, we slow down. On the other hand, we slow down so much that we're not really pushing ourselves to the limits of our own potentials. Now, I remember doing a video a long time ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, about if you can't have sex with the same person, it's probably not porn. Now, I mentioned that porn actors are free. They're free to do what they want. They're living to their fullest potential as humans, having sex on camera, motivating other people to have sex, and are free about it because they're getting paid for it. We envy these people. We really do. We want to be these people because they are not judged for it. As a politician, you can't have a sex tape. On the other hand, as a celebrity, you can, and it makes you more famous. Now, what happens is that we live in a society that is always developing. We have to work because it's important for our survival. Having this little conundrum is very important because you have to be able to have this self-control. On one hand, again, you have so much energy that you can't really think because all you're thinking is about sex. The challenge is, why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through this whole process? On the other hand, you already have found the pinnacle in terms of replication. You have a family, you don't have to do much. What is going to motivate you to do this? This means maybe not masturbate as much. That means maybe finding new novelties, maybe going to sex clubs, maybe finding new mates and everything like that within your relationship, or kind of talking to your partner about what you want out of the relationship that will make it a little bit more exciting. Is the communication that you have with yourself and with your partner. So it's a teeter-totter. Again, we were talking about the balance. So on one hand, you can focus on sex, right? Or you can have sex without focus, right? So that's a single, ready to mingle. On the other hand, you can also do that with your partner, which is you can focus on sex. So sex, 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 and you're not really developing yourself on other aspects or domains in yourself. Or you can have sex without focus, which is kind of monotonous. It becomes repetitive, and you're not really enjoying it because there's no novelty. It's kind of like checking off a list. And I spoke about this in the last video about if you can't have sex with the same person. Now, you can have focus without sex, which is, you're trying to develop yourself, you're trying to challenge yourself in a way that you're making more videos, you're trying to get out there, motivate people with self-development. If you let go of the need for sex, then you understand that, hey, I need to make a life for myself so I can have this benefits as I'm growing older with the partner that I find later on in life. And you can have sex with focus. That new novelty, that new aspect of like, okay, I remember why I love this person so much. I remember how she smells, how she looks at me while we're having sex, how she touches my body, how she tells me I'm a man. What is most important out of this is this self-discovery and the self-development that you are going through. This Nofap challenge is probably one of the most challenging things that you can do. You can be a woman and have this Nofap challenge because you can do the same thing, as much as you can be a man and have the Nofap challenge and do the same thing. What is it that you're trying to get out of this? Are you trying to improve your relationship because you have that family and you're trying to spark up that romance and find a new potency to your life, and maybe that new position that's at work, or on the other hand, you're working, but enjoy with people, enjoy with a mate. You have so much money, but who are you sharing it with? You have the ability to live, but nothing is promised tomorrow. So that's why we survive and replicate every single day. So what happens is that we'll masturbate, and that's it. Our genes is saying, all right, we're satisfied. There's nothing more we have to do. That's good enough. And what I'm trying to push people to do is that good enough is not good enough. Of course, lowering expectations is good, but having set these expectations and release any need for control is the most important thing. Of course, it's subjective and relative to how much work you want to put in this. Of course, we've seen the benefits of Nofap. We've seen the negative and cons of Nofap. It becomes very challenging. It's very hard to concentrate. But in the end, what really happens is that we find a balance, and we can go from there and proceed to improve ourselves in all aspects. Alright guys, so I hope this helps. Whether you are single ready to mingle or you're in the family and you know that drive doesn't motivate you anymore. Hopefully within the next week we'll find where we're at with this Nofap challenge. If you have any questions, feel free, comment below. I'm out and about what I just talked about. Peace.